The congressman called his moves for her conservatorship questionable. Her dad's attorney released this statement. Jamie Spears has diligently and professionally carried out his duties as one of Britney's conservators, and his love for his daughter and dedication to protecting her is clearly apparent to the court. Anytime Britney wants to end her conservatorship, she can ask her lawyer to file a petition to terminate it. She has always had this right, but in 13 years has never exercised it. Congressman Matt Gaetz joins us now. Congressman, thank you for being on with us today. So you want to have a hearing on this. You want to call attention to it. Tell me about your approach here, not just about Britney Spears as well.
There are millions of Americans who suffer from guardianship and conservatorship abuse in this country, and one of the things that we do in the House Judiciary Committee is convene to discuss due process rights and constitutional rights of our fellow Americans. And I think we should look at whether or not wards who are subject to this type of control from another human being ought to be entitled to a Bill of Rights where they can get an accounting, where they have maybe the right to vote, the opportunity for review. And what you see from Jamie Spears is quintessential abuser pathology. Abusers always say that it's a consequence of their love that they're abusive and that the abusee needs it and it's for their benefit. The reality is the pleadings in this case belie what James Spears has said. In fact, Britney Spears has sought additional control for others over her finances in particular, and James Spears in his most recent pleadings has filed frivolous objections to judicial orders that would limit his powers and would give more powers to professional conservators. So I think that we have a lot more to do in this legal space, and there's a hearing coming up on Wednesday where Britney Spears is seeking an accounting, and it'll be interesting to see if her father opposes that.
Yeah, and tell me a little bit, too, about why, I mean, many people know about Britney Spears and Britney Spears' story, but they might not realize that what you mentioned earlier, which is that there are conservatorships happening, all across the country. And maybe give us an example of where you think that that abuse has gone too far and why you want to change it.
In the state of Florida, it often happens with our elderly citizens. If someone is in their 80s or 90s, if they're losing their faculties, they can often be victims of family or others who are around them who sweep in, who get them in a conservatorship or guardianship. And one of the things that the Britney Spears documentary highlighted is that there is almost no opportunity ever for someone to rehabilitate out of that circumstance to regain control over their life and over their finances. I saw this as a Florida state legislator when I served on the Judiciary Committee there, and I'm hopeful that in the Congress we could inspire better action at the state level, and in some cases we may need to give access to federal courts to people whose due process rights are being deprived. Right now, the federal courthouse door is closed to people who are seeing their due process violated, and we should analyze whether or not that policy change should occur.
Well, it's really interesting. We'll keep an eye on it because I think that people didn't realize that, it's not just Britney Spears, although that is an interesting and famous case. So we'll keep an eye on that and keep in touch with you. Congressman Matt Gaetz, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dana.
This is Congressman Matt Gaetz. If you like that video, make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on social media, and join us on our daily podcast, Hot Takes with Matt Gaetz, on your favorite podcast listening platform.